And action. Oh, yeah. You can start talking. Oh, I could start talking. Sweet. All right, so I would say this is one of the cool things I think we do. When we get together, we talk about rules, we share experiences, we get to learn about teams, about plays, but more importantly, like as the night goes on, I hope you get to meet new umpires. And I know we were going to be 7:15, 7:30 pickup games from coaches, but at the end, if you're looking to pick up games, and I'm not just talking about like tomorrow, Thursday, Saturday, I still think there's a lot of umpires that if you contact your coach, they'll assign you up through June. Like you might not see games through June, but if you contact your coach, we will assign you out. So use your coach. I know I sent my 42 umpires a text message yesterday of, hey, if you have a rule question, let me know. If you have a situation, let me know. All right, so before everybody does leave today, we have tokens of appreciation. I know some people like to collect stuff, some people don't, but make sure you take one. We're going to have a different one for every rules discussion meeting. So this one symbolizes April 8th. But here, I'm not sure if it's a raise of hand. We'll figure out as we go. Here's the rule, or the game situation. The count is 2 balls, 1 strike, and the umpire goes 2-1. Winning runs at third base. No, winning runs at second base. Tying runs at third base. Swing and a miss, balls in the dirt, batter takes off, thinking it's a drop third strike. Catcher throws the ball in right field. 2 runs score, the winning run scores. What are you doing as an umpire? Do you have a rule reference?
No. I don't have a rule reference, but I know what I'm doing.
You got to connect it to a rule because somebody's going to protest.
Some sort of offensive runner interference.
Okay, so we have offensive runner interference. All right, so offensive runner interference. All right, so now what's the penalty for offensive interference? Okay. Offensive interference, play is dead. Who was the interference on? Batter runner. And who gained the advantage?
Everybody goes guy on third.
So, and that's the question right there. Who's out?
Well, it's probably similar to like if a pass ball, if there's less than 2 outs, the runner coming home from third is out. If there's 2 outs, the batter is out.
And so that's what we're trying to find the rule reference for right now in this meeting. Whoever's got, and be honest with you, I don't care what rule book you have. If you have OBR rule book, if you have college rule book, if you have federation rule book, because I agree, offensive interference is the rule. Because we have an offensive player confusing the defense. Because I'm going to be completely honest with you, I have not had time to look up the exact rule reference. No, it happened yesterday in the championship game. Were you on the game?
No.
Oh.
Shag and I called me about it.
Yeah.
He called me today and asked me.
Yep. Yeah, it was a championship game yesterday.
I wonder if that was a call play.
Well, see, that's what we'll get into that.
Because like, if first base is occupied and we take off on a third strike, it's not interference. Defense is supposed to know what it is. Bases are loaded.
Yeah.
High School Federation Rule 2, Section 21.
Rule 2, Section 21.
I'm there.
Offensive interference. Interferes with, obstructs, impedes, hinders, or confuses any fielder attempting to make a play.
And I know that's what, we're all in agreement that if we have a penalty, it's offensive interference. But the question is the batter out? Is the runner on third out?
Sean, this might sound stupid, but can we penalize stupidity? Like, also, can we get some more from, like, did the coach tell the kid to run, or no, the kid just took off?
The kid took off.
He's confused because he swung at it, missed, and the ball got away from the catcher.
What age was this?
13. 13U. Yep.
Coach didn't do anything.
What's that?
Where was it at?
It was a CB Sports Complex.
I got a Carolina burger and chicken strips.
Runner, hurt. Anytime there's offensive interference on the batter, but the runner going home is gone.
When the batter comes back with the,
Can't find a case plate.
Nope, there's no case plate for this one.
Hey, Sean, can you repeat the scenario now?
All right, so the scenario, if you are online, we're looking for a rule reference. We have runners on second and third. We have first base unoccupied. We have a 2-1 count, swing and miss in the dirt, and the batter takes off like it's a drop third strike. And the catcher makes a play on the batter, throwing the ball to right field, causing the runners on second and third to score, in which case that won the game for the offensive team. So the question is, 7-3 Article 5.
I like this one. Making any movement, well, that's not quite the same.
You call third out because he didn't legally
You're
advance.
looking at the penalty as when there's 2 outs, the batter is out. When there are not 2 outs, the runner advances 1 play.
See, I kind of like this. All right, so this is the Federation rule book. Interfere with the catcher's fielding or throwing by, letter C, making any other movement which hinders actions at home plate or the catcher's attempt to play on a runner.
But there's
So is the batter's not a runner.
No, he's not.
He doesn't make a play on a runner.
How many outs were there?
1 out.
1 out. So 2-1 count, 1 out.
So it makes it 2-2.
Yeah, it makes it 2-2. But then he left the, well, no, because he swung, so you can actually leave the batter's box there. So you don't think you have a violation. I think it's, I don't know if I have an comparison based off the rule book, to be honest, because you announced, you did everything you could as a umpire. You announced, hey, we have a 2-1 count.
Correct?
If the kid, unless it was they did an offensive conference and it seemed like it was a well thought out coached plan, hey, this is what we're going to do, versus kid legitimately thought it was strike 3 and takes off. Because it's different because most of the time, if you're working home plate, if you're PU, first base is occupied less than 2 outs and you have a drop third strike, you should immediately say, hey, batter's out, batter's out, batter's out to prevent. Because they'll try to do the same thing on a drop third strike with less than 2 outs, or in situations where it doesn't matter if it's a drop strike, batter's already out. So unless the kid's shouting anything, verbally doing something, I would apply. I think both runs are going to score there. Unless as he's running up, but I mean you can't have runner lane interference because he's not a runner, you know. Unless he intentionally interfered with that, I don't think you can.
even if he wasn't a legal runner, by that rule that you read, wouldn't he have presented himself as a runner? So then we go by that?
Yes, but by rule he's not a runner, so you can't. When everything else will say specifically, if you intentionally, if the runner, batter runner, and intentionally interfered at the time, so yeah.
So if he gets the first though, let's say it's not game winner, those two score, he gets the first, actually touches the bag and you bring it back,
You bring him back with the 2-2
get
count.
the 2-2 count.
Because I think the only way you can get a strike out of it is if it's ball 4. And it's not a situation in which you can legally leave the box.
Said kid thought it was dropped.
He thought it was drop third strike.
Was it
It's
a pass
2-1.
ball? Because if it's a pass ball, well, now we have interference because the catcher's then making a play at home plate and it's now been interfered with.
So the play was thrown to first base.
The ball got thrown.
Maybe you
kinda
might be
like-
able to grab batters.
I kinda like
interference.
no
You might be able to grab batters interference if you're rolling a single ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if you have a call.
And the fact that the batter started running.
Call one of my moms.
A runner would be something that confuses defense, and therefore that could be offensive interference.
Yeah.
That would hinder the, like, catch the defense off guard. That's probably what led to the overthrow first.
So here's, now that I'm going deep into the rule book. Rule 10.2.3, the umpire in chief's duties includes those listed. G, make final decision on points not covered by the rules. Okay? So, when we talked about the offensive interference and the making a play on the runner, well, we don't have a runner because we still have a batter. So he's making a play on a batter. Go ahead.
Well, I got, this is from 2018, but Casebook 7.3.1. Batter one is, this is a 3-1 strike count. F1 throws a pitch, batter one thinks it's ball 4, starts running to first base prior to calling the pitch a strike. Or B1 incorrectly thought the count was 2 balls and 2 strikes, and heads to the dugout after umpire called the pitch a strike. Ruling in A and B, as long as the umpire judges that B1 did not delay the game, he would be allowed to continue to bat on a count of 3 balls and 2 strikes. If the umpire felt the game was delayed, he would charge a strike to B1. Because the additional strike is now been called, the batter would be let out.
Correct, but I think on that one specifically, I was like, because we're going with the ball there. So if it's a ball you didn't swing at, didn't brush you back off, that is a rule.
But it's the same rule though, I mean.
But you could leave the batter's box.
You can see the batter's box after you swing.
Right.
That's talking about delay. That's talking about delaying the
But it
game.
goes back to the umpire having the judgment, did the runner think he's delaying the game, even if he overthrew it?
Yeah.
If it was not deemed as a delay, it's not an active play. So you call time, runners go back to second and third, and he comes back to the back.
But it's a line, you can call time on it, but it's not a dead ball situation.
Well,
If it's a line
in
ball,
the
because the
judgment of
defense,
the umpire,
but the defense needs to know.
he automatically calls time, wait a minute, that's not a third strike or a pass ball. So even though he swings at strike 2, he immediately calls time.
All right. Why not no call 2 outs? Okay. So a response online says, since there was a play, since there was a throw, no call, just leave everything live. And
That's what I was saying.
We just kill the ball after the run score.
So what I told the coach, I said, if I'm in this situation, because I asked him 3 questions. I said, number 1, was there an umpire error? Did we say like 2-2 or 1-2? Did we say the wrong count? He goes, no, absolutely not. Everybody except the batter knew it was 2-1. Well, and the catcher, I guess. And I said, do you think the batter did it on purpose to gain an advantage? Do you think it was a coached play to gain an advantage? And he goes, no, absolutely not. Like he felt the batter truly thought it was 2 strikes and just ran. I said, common sense, fair play. And the only rule that I have to connect this with, common sense, fair play, is that Rule 10.2G. Of we don't have a specific rule, minus coach's responsibility. The umpire shall warn the offender unless the offense is judged to be major, and that's unsportsmanlike conduct. Like if I have a coach and I know the coach told him to do this, that would be a major. And if it's on time, we're not letting this happen. I don't think it is offensive interference because we're not making a play on a runner because there's no runner at first base and he's still legally the batter. So I think what the umpires did, and I agreed with what the umpires did, they wound up calling time and putting the runners back at second and third like it never happened. And when I was talking to the coach initially, I'm like, I don't have a rule reference, but I'm definitely bringing this to the meeting tonight. All right? So we don't have an unsporting act by the player. We don't have an unsporting act by the coach. We definitely have a player confusing the defense and gaining an advantage, but we can't connect it to offensive interference. We don't have a play at home. We don't have a play at the runner. So common sense, fair play, we don't have a rule. I'm just going to go back to 10-2G. It's not in the rule book, so I'm going to do what is fit for the game. But I am going to give the ball. Oh man, that would have been bad. To Eric. Oh, it comes with the stand, sorry. For finding the closest rule reference on the 3 balls, 1 strike, and the batter, or 3 balls, 1 strike, batter thinks it's ball 4, umpire calls strike 2. That batter only has 20 seconds to get back, be ready to hit.
When the pitcher has the ball.
When the pitcher gets the ball. Yep, when the pitcher gets the ball. All right, so Eric, I appreciate that. Before we get into this, any like dying questions that people have? 'Cause what time is it right now?
47.
Oh, we got 13 minutes. Sweet. Go ahead, Ryan.
One that my partner and I were discussing, it's funny, middle of the game, so we got no one on. Fly ball in the infield into foul territory. First comes to catch it, batter runner runs to first. Pitcher almost collides with the batter runner. And in between innings, we're thinking, discussing like, okay, what do we call if that pitcher collides with the batter runner? Because we're protecting the first baseman, catch the fly ball in foul territory. But it's a fly ball in foul territory.
So the initial call would be obstruction, but since it's a foul ball, if it wound up being foul ball, dropped or caught, now it'll either be foul ball, award a strike. Because had obstruction not occurred, where would the batter have gotten? He would have been sent back to home plate with an additional strike. So I would have obstruction, foul ball, had obstruction not occurred, we're going to go back. It's because it's foul ball.
And if it's caught, out.
Out. Yep. Had obstruction not occurred, we would have an out. Windy days. And what's that? So windy days, how many foul balls came back into fair territory? How many were over shortstop and went out of foul?
Wes missed one yesterday in our game.
His feet were in fair territory.
Yeah. It was the same thing. It was a tough call.
Yep.
It happened.
I remember that one down the line, super windy day Saturday night, down the left field line, left fielder is going to make the catch. Her right foot stepped over the line, the glove is over the line, so she's in foul territory. Her left foot is in the air. She touched the ball, falls, doesn't catch it, foul ball. What I call, the coach, third base coach, of course, he's just giving me all kinds of grief, like, that's a fair ball, that's a fair ball. And I said, no. Her right foot was over the line, the glove was over the line, her left foot was in the air. Did you see her feet? She was like, no, I wasn't looking at her feet. I said, that's why I was looking at her.
Does it matter where?
Absolutely not.
She got both of them in fair.
So the play is, the player is either fair territory or foul territory. That does not matter whatsoever. So a coach will come to us and say, how could it be a foul ball? That player was in fair territory. I literally said to a coach, I have no idea where that player was because I was watching the ball. Because it's a foul ball, fair ball, so I have to watch the ball. I don't watch the player. Fair foul territory. Zach?
Adam, this is actually Adam's question, but he had a kid yesterday stealing second. Catcher goes to throw down, hits the kid in the face, starts spitting out blood, thinks his jaw's broken, all that type of stuff. All that. So he stopped it right there. Coach was mad at him that he didn't keep the ball alive. The other coach.
Hit the batter or hit the runner?
No, hit the runner, running to second, right? And he instantly just started spitting blood and all that stuff. So it was killed, right, for safety reasons. Do you have any? I mean,
So were
the
there
other coach had a leg to stand on.
were there other runners, offensive runners, advancing base?
I think the kid was stopped at third at the moment, but he could have came home. Is what his argument was.
He could have, but was he?
I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's the coach at offense?
The offense.
Yeah. So if you
His kid.
Yeah, if you have, I'll call that a traumatic injury. We had another kid get squatted off. A ball hit the eye, and the umpire took care of it. But whenever you have a dramatic injury, you can't kill it right away as much as you want to kill it right away. You have to pause, make sure all play has ceased. If that runner is not actively advancing and the coach is going to take advantage of the injury, I'm not going to let him take advantage of the injury. Now, if it was first and third and he's advancing home as they're throwing down to second base, now I'm going to, he was already advancing as that injury was going or right as that injury. But if that runner's not actively advancing, I see an injury and it's bad, time. But now, I've seen ground balls off of third baseman's faces, goes into left field. You can't kill that because that left fielder has to, you got to treat that like a double because the batter runner is advancing. So now we got to wait till that batter runner's done advancing.
This is like a 10-year-old double-A game. Guy on first base, pitcher comes set, guy takes off. And everyone's like, step off, step off. Doesn't step off, pauses for 8 seconds. The guy's already rounded second base coming. Then he decides to throw.
Nice.
Foul ball.
Sweet. I wish Brian Lambie was here. It happened again.
He never threw the ball until he was after second base.
Mm-hmm.
So
Where this comes up a lot of times is when a ball goes out of play and it's one base award at the time of pitch. And you have that runner, first and third, just going. If that runner had legally occupied second base prior to the time of pitch, foul ball, you return runners back to the base they legally acquired at the time of pitch. So if you definitely had him touch second base prior to the pitch, he's at second base.
the pitch is when it leaves the hand.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Time of pitch. Yep. See, and I was like, that'll never happen. Happen again. Yes, sir.
I umpired an 11U select game, and it was the last inning of the game. It was a pretty close game. Jimmy. And there's a runner running home, and the catcher has the ball, is running to go tag the runner, but he drops the ball, and the runner runs out, in my judgment, out of the baseline to avoid the tag by the catcher, and the catcher doesn't have the ball. I called the runner out for running out of the baseline because he wasn't close enough to home plate yet to be able to run.
You didn't have the ball.
Did the catcher have the ball?
He did. He had the ball and he dropped it before he could get the tag on the run.
Okay, so what is a tag attempt? And what do you have to have for a tag? You have to have the ball. So if they don't have clear possession of the ball, they can't legally make a tag attempt. That's what the rule I would give to the coach who wants out of the base path. And now I would also then say, coach, your catcher was there, and in my judgment, this runner I felt was trying to avoid interference because he didn't want to contact the catcher. He could run anywhere to avoid interference. And since your catcher didn't have the ball, I can't judge it. He ran that far away from the catcher to avoid a tag attempt because he can't legally tag without the ball.
For both Federation and NCAA rules, for limited number of defensive conference they have in high school, we have 3, college you got 3 with the coach, 3 with any others. Let's say a coach comes out, he's trying to buy some time for his bullpen. So he's taking a little extended conference, then as you go to break it up, last second he goes with the change. That is no charge conference, correct?
Correct. So a conference, we'll just start federation rules. A conference begins when the coach crosses the fair foul line. Okay? It ends once he leaves the dirt circle. So if that coach crosses the fair foul line, all right, we got a conference, we're going to have our routine, write it down, clean off plate, walk to the pitcher's mound. Now the coach is like, hey, Walter, how you doing today? Like sometimes they will like try to have a conversation with you because they want this guy in the bullpen to warm up. Say, hey, coach, do you want to stay the same way or do you want to bring in the bullpen? What do you think, Walter? They will. I mean, so now the coach will say, nope, we're going to go to the pen. Perfect. Then you just scratch off that conference. Yeah, if they make that change, scratch off that conference.
That particular situation that happened with me, I know at the last college game, we went through 19 pitching changes.
Ooh.
It was brutal. But there was one that I think John Boy did kind of like a review on where it was a classic, hey, we didn't get the strike call, so pitching coach comes out to bait the home plate umpire.
Yep.
For a very long extended period of time. And that's what I was thinking. Well, he never left the dirt circle, so it's still no conference.
Correct. I always say don't pick a booger. There are some umpires where like we know that the coach is delaying this because he wants his bullpen to get more throws. Me personally, I don't want a pitcher coming in unless they're loose because if they're not loose, they're going to be wild. If they're wild, it doesn't benefit us as an umpire. We can't call strikes. So, I mean, don't pick that booger. Hey, coach, I know what you're doing. Just treat it like any other conference. It's 2 minutes, sweet, 2 minutes.
You want to go over that play that you and I talked about on the phone?
Go ahead, say it.
So we had a situation where there was a runner on second base. There's one out. And I take that back.
First and second one.
Yeah. And the
How far
runner
can I stretch?
was stealing. It was a drop third strike, which I had indicated to my partner. And the runner takes off for first. And nobody attempts to tag anything of that nature. Well, he thought he
We're
was
good.
out.
We're good.
So he starts veering off to go to the dugout, and then coach goes, no, get back on the back. So
How many outs?
there was
One out.
So you got one out,
First and second.
First and second.
and you call drop third strike. Okay? Is there a drop third strike, one out with first base occupied?
No.
So now we have an umpire error. Whenever we have an umpire error that causes confusion, time. And you reset everybody back to where they would have been had I, as an umpire, erred. So I'll give you a situation. We're at Wakefield last week, and I have, on my indicator, I have 2-1. On the scoreboard, there's 2-2. So instead of calling time before the pitch, I'm like, everyone knows it's 2-1 count. No, swing and a miss, strike three, drop third strike, here we go. So we're back to that very first rule. And everyone now thinks the inning's over because he tagged him. Inning's over. I make nothing. I don't make any signal whatsoever. Runner on third takes off his helmet. Then all of a sudden they realize, oh wait, shit, that was only strike two. Defense is running off the field. So now the runner on third comes in and scores. I'm like, no, time. So it wasn't an umpire error. It was a scoreboard error, and it obviously confused everybody. So we got together as a crew. I said, I redid the whole at-bat in my head. I know it was a 2-1 count before that. I know it's not 2-2. I go, so we're going to come out of here. We're going to say it's an umpire error. I'm going to put it on me for not correcting the scoreboard. And we're going to put the runners back at second and third 2-2 count because that's exactly what should happen. And the coaches were all good with it. All right, so whenever there's a confusion because there's a potential umpire error, time and reset everything where it would be had we not made an error with a count, with a communication, with a signal. All right.
I had that this weekend in Miller West. Scoreboard was constantly wrong, constantly wrong. I would just look at the dugout and say, guys, 2-1, 2-1. And just let them know. Is that kind of, and I can sit there doing this in the press box, and they never changed it. Is that kind of preventative? Does that help?
Yes. Whenever we could prevent miscommunication, misinformation, do it. Absolutely. So like if the count's wrong, like let's say the scoreboard's 1-1 and it should be 1-2, I'm bringing attention to what's wrong on the scoreboard, and I will make sure the catcher and batter know what's wrong too. And because when I didn't do that, it happens.
Hey, I think
All levels, it happens.
one thing that I noticed is where a lot of we get into those situations is on a still play.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a called strike. A lot of times we're quick on, hey, hammer or pointing it out, hold it.
Yep.
So I think that saves a lot. So that way you can verbalize strike and just keep it out
Yep.
until the play's over.
All right, today's rules discussion topic, and we're going to open it up to questions after we go over pregame communication. So I was actually in a meeting today with athletic directors, and I said, from an athletic director standpoint, what is the most important thing for you? And one of the athletic directors says consistency. And he goes, we're not talking about consistency of what is a strike, what is a ball. We're not talking about consistency of interference, obstruction. What we're talking about consistency is no matter what sports official we have coming to our place, it's the same communication. Okay, so this week is the very first week. Every single team that we assign in select baseball, they have a home game. Last 2 weeks, UBA opened up and Millard opened up. Well, Gretna opened up today, Bellevue opened up today, Papillion opened up today. Everybody opened up today. So consistency, pregame communication. How many people have confirmed every single game with a coach so far this season, minus tournaments? Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that leaves 1, 2, 3. That leaves 8 that didn't. All right, so now we're hitting 60-40. All right, so we have to be consistent. Number one, emailing and or texting your coach. I know feedback. Do coaches respond better via text or via email?
Text for the youth level, and then definitely email for higher.
Text for youth level, email for higher level. Now, when you go, I'm not on my computer. When you go in Arbiter Sports and you click on the team name, if it says site contact, that's not who you want to contact. It should be team contact. If you have 2 team contacts there, there's one of 2 things that are happening. We still have last year's coach connected to it, and they shouldn't be connected to it, or they want an assistant coach to be on the communication. So as we go through this week and next week, text message all team contacts. If one coach is incorrect, like I don't coach for that team, let me know, let your coach know, so we could change arbiter. If we're consistent emailing and texting coaches and something's wrong in arbiter, let's use this week and next week to clean it up. So when it gets really busy, everything is correct. So consistency. Hopefully the next rules discussion meeting, I don't get any calls or text messages. Hey, Sean, what field am I on? I don't know. Is it yard 3 or is it yard 4? I don't know. All right. What does arbiter say? Well, arbiter says field 4. Sweet. What did the coach say? What do you mean, what did the coach say? The coach will know what field it is. So if you work suburban, how many people have worked suburban games already They have a field change every single day. I would over-confirm with Suburban because they are changing fields every single day.
Whitehawk doesn't have field numbers on the fence.
Whitehawk does not have field numbers on their fences. So EAA, they don't have banners up on their fields yet either, so you don't know which one's 1, 2, 3, 4 yet. So again, that's the type of stuff you want to communicate with the coach. Hey, coach, I'm at this complex, it says field 7, are we on field 7? Because if you're Kelly Field 8 on Arbiter, but they're playing on 1, you might not even see that team warming up. Like, where's my team? Right? Because you can't see field 1 from field 8. So overly communicate pregame, email, text. So go ahead, Brian.
The crew chief that's supposed to contact the, as opposed to the umpire one?
Yes.
Okay.
So if I'm the crew chief, I'm going to email the team contact, and I'm going to email my partner or text. If I'm umpire 1 and I'm working with Ryan, who's crew chief, and he hasn't done it yet, I'm probably going to text Ryan, hey, Ryan, do you need me to confirm, or do you got this under control? All right. I still need something. I'm not sure if you guys remember what Jason Ford said. When we do this, it does nothing but benefit us. We show up at the right place at the right time, and when the coach gets the text message, when the coach gets the email, I promise you, all right, I got umpires. Okay, so I coached a doubleheader on Sunday. I texted both umpires on Sunday morning at 10:07 before I left for the field to get the fields ready. All right, so, and both umpires then texted me back, yep, I'll be there. All right, good. But we want that coming from the umpire. All right, and initiate that from the umpire. So what do we put in that? Game details, Sunday, April 7th, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, Keystone Field number 7. My partner is Zach Hunnell. I plan on being there at 11:30. It's amazing I always ask this, if there's any special accommodations or arrangements with these games, let us know. And where's a good place to park? Like, yeah, if you've been umpiring a lot, you know where to park. But if you're new, you don't know. So I always have teams park by 120th Street out of foul ball territory because I don't want their cars being hit by a foul ball. Some people might say, hey, park on this side of the complex because there's shade there. In between games, you could get shade. So this week, we had hot dogs, chips, and water in between games. So that's special, right? So I let the umpires know, hey, in between games, we're going to be 20 minutes. Grab a hot dog, grab chips, grab water. Sweet. All right? So you never know when that type of stuff happens. And I always end it with a positive ending. Looking forward to a great day of baseball. Can't wait to work 13U Select Baseball. Can't wait to see the new fields at EAA Sports Complex. Find something positive at the very end to say to that coach. All right, we're going to get into that. If you get a response back of any changes, hey, Sean, our game went from MP Dodge Park to Trentwood. Hey, Sean, it's not 12-2 anymore, it's 2-4. Let us know, let the coach know, because hopefully you can still work it. So like a coach said, hey, we're looking at playing at 6 o'clock tomorrow instead of 7:45. And the umpire's like, I can't do 6 o'clock because I have a 5:30 game, same complex, but I could do 5:30, 7:45. So the coach says, Sean, what do we do? I go, well, here's the risk you could take. You could change the game and got to find an umpire, but we're 3 umpires short tomorrow, so that would make it 4. Or you could keep the game exactly how it is and you know you have an umpire. We're going to keep it the same. All right, so if a coach does ask you that, let your coach know and we can have that communication for you. So those are some examples. But consistency. If we are all consistent doing this, coaches will expect that behavior, coaches will see that professionalism, and now when you get to the field, guess what you already have with that coach? You have rapport, you have professionalism, you have responsibility with that coach. I always say you've already made it to the 3rd inning, all right, because they're going to give you the benefit of the doubt because you're organized with it.
Go ahead. One thing I found helpful communicating with your partner is seeing what kind of vehicle you're in, so you can try and park next to them. And a lot of times there's a lot of cars, and you have hard time finding.
Great point. Those listening online, when you're working with a new partner you don't know, hey, I'm going to park here. I'm driving a Chevy Silverado, and it's gray, dark gray. Let your partners know what your car looks like. And that's important walking off the field too. Now you're walking together to the same spot to your cars. Power in numbers is important if you have a partner.
You know, one other thing too, Sean, and I noticed in our work, a lot of people don't have their pictures in there, so, and people change. I've changed.
Yep.
When I first started.
Consistency. How many people have a pitcher and arbiter right now? So we got 1, 2, 3. So we got 4 that do not, that's better than the email and text message, so that we're getting good. Consistency. Coaches do look at pitchers. I know most of my umpires, but I do look if I don't recognize the name. All right, you guys won't believe this. This was the first full week of games. I got 5 phone calls complaining about umpires this week. 5 for 5. The umpire said this at the plate meeting. And, okay, so we're going to go over, do not say anything that could be used against you during the game. Okay? This really should be everything you ever have to talk about at the plate meeting. And I'll give you some stories with umpires who did not. They went beyond of this. So be on time. So an umpire in between games left to go get food, which is cool. If you work 4 games in a day, how many hours are you going to work in that day? 8, at least 8. So please plan your food, bring your food, use the concession stand, because you can't leave for 20 minutes and come back and expect coaches, like, where were you? Well, I was hungry. Because guess what they're doing right after that game? They're getting their pitchers ready, so if they get their pitchers ready, now they're waiting for you for an extra 15 minutes, that pitcher's now cold. Okay, so be on time. And on time is 5 minutes before the first pitch at the plate meeting. All right, I prefer in select, I'm at the field 10 minutes prior. Now, I'm not going to force a plate meeting 10 minutes prior if they're not ready, but I don't want them waiting for me. I want me waiting for them at the select level. All right, so be on time. All right, so now we're there. Have coaches introduce themselves first. So those who have taken our certified course, if you watch it on UmpApp, everything we do at the plate meeting, we are setting the expectation and tone the whole entire game. The whole entire game. So every interaction between umpire and coach, we should have the coach start it first. All right, so the coach typically reaches out, shakes your hand. Let the coach say their name first. Let them have the first word. Let them have the last word at the plate meeting. It's like a human mind trick, and if you do it, they don't even know you're doing it, but we recognize it as humans. Oh, wow, this umpire's approachable. He's letting me talk first and last. Okay, so I always have the coach introduce themselves first. Coaches, are players legally equipped? What does that do for us? Liability's off. Now, if you want to extend it, say, if we do find illegal equipment, we'll just fix it. Cool. Okay. Which there's an update today, perfect game. There's a bat going around. Easton, so if it does get changed in USSSA, we will send that out as fast as possible. I know our team has one bat. We played against a team that has that bat. It's hot. So I would not be surprised. So if it does become illegal in USSSA, we send that out. I would say, Coach, does anybody have this, what is it called? Hype Fire bat? It's orange yellow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And they all went on sale today on Amazon, by the way.
You say drop 5.
Yeah, drop 5. It's a drop 5. Like I said, I know my team has one. And it's good. So, like, that would be like an additional, like, nobody has this bat, it just became illegal. Drop 5 of Hype Fire. Next thing, home coach, take us around the yard. Take us around the field. Coach, anything about this field the visiting coach or I as umpire needs to know. Where are the openings? If the ball could get underneath the fence, have your outfielders raise their hand. Then, time limit. So the questions have been asked to me, hey, what are the time limits? There is no set rule. All right, so like USSSA baseball, if you go to the rule book, there is no time limit. It is up to the tournament director or it's up to the home coach. So I said this to one umpire, always plan 2 hours, like mentally, like yourself, getting there and getting to the next thing you have to get to. Because if a team is playing on a turf field, it's $150 for that game, plus your umpire fee. So don't make it about, hey, no, it's hour 40, coach. There's no rule for that. So coaches, what is your time limit? Some do hour 40, some do hour 45, some do hour 50. Some want to do 2 hours. All right, so don't force coaches what time limit they have to play, but it's not over 2 hours. All right, so we're not going to go unlimited baseball. We're going to play 9 innings. The 2-hour time limit is our max by contract, by our contract with the teams.
Can a game end in a tie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, so friendly games during the week, the time limit has been reached. The game will end in a tie. If it's a tournament, it will specifically say in that tournament rule. Pool play, they end in a tie. Bracket play, they can't end in a tie. They'll do the California international rules for a tiebreaker. David?
So we do the 2 hours, but the home team still gets their bat?
Yep, you finish the inning in baseball. Yep. Balks. This is always a contention. Some coaches want it tight. Some coach wants a warning per pitcher. Remember who's paying the field. Home team gets to decide. Typically, most coaches are good. Get the big ones, and let's coach the small ones. Because really, there's a lot of balks in select baseball, all levels, all age groups. There's high school reserve, JV. They're still mentally trying to get a rhythm going. All right, so if it's a coachable moment in between innings, tell the coach. If you definitely know that runner got an advantage, call the balk. Now, depending on what the coaches agreed, warning per pitcher or enforce the one base. Rule set. This isn't a problem now because it's all USSSA or Federation. But during the summer, different programs come to Omaha, you don't know what they're playing. So make sure you know, coaches, what rule set are you playing by today? USSSA, NFHS, original baseball rules, as we go. By the way, so now that we talked about that those first 4 probably take 2 minutes. Probably take 2. Setting this expectations. Coaches, if you have a question, call time. If it's for the field umpire, go to the fair foul line. If it's for the plate umpire, go to the dugout or dirt circle. We will meet you when you get there. Time, I'm going to grant you time. We'll meet you there. You're going to ask your question. We're going to give you the answer. If we have to get together, we will for you. All right, coaches, we all good where you're supposed to go? All right, so we're going to take a look at a clip here in a second. And then the last thing, again, this is end everything on positive. It's 11:58. Game time's 12 o'clock. I'll tell the coaches we're going to start at 12 o'clock. So now we have an easy hour 40, hour 50. So when it's 140, 150, we know it's over. You just gave the coach, quote unquote, 2 minutes. That's huge. Now, if it's 12:02, go 12:02. Like, don't go 12. You don't have to go 12:05. You could go 12:02. But if we're early, that plate meeting ends early, it's going to take 2 minutes to warm up. Okay? It's amazing karma. Okay? If you do everything right, it's all going to work out. If you try to shave, if you try to cut corners, it's going to catch up to you. Maybe not that game, but it'll find you. It'll find you. All right.
Hey, Sean,
Yes.
on umpire discussions with coaches, just the coach that comes out to the plate meeting, correct?
Manager, head coach. Now, if it's a doubleheader, by rule, they could bring out a different coach for the second game. The only coach that shall talk to any umpire is the manager who is at that plate meeting. Manager only.
Oh, Sean, I'm the assistant.
I don't care. That's cool. I mean, I won't be a jerk about it during the game, but I might. Hey, coach, this is the person who came to the plate, so this is the manager for this
Well,
game.
I'm saying the assistant coach went to play. No, I'm not the head coach.
Well, then I ask him, do you want it? You could. I give him the choice. Again, don't pick a battle. Just say, well, you could stay here, but you're the only one. Let your manager know, or if you have that manager, they better come up here. All right, the don'ts. Do not talk about the strike zone at all. Do not tell a coach, hey, coach, tell your batters we're going to swing the bat. Hey, coach, it's going to be chalk to chalk, armpits to ankles. I don't care if that's what you call. I don't care. Because I don't care how good anybody is. Like, I'm not going to tell a coach, hey, coach, I'm going to give the 2-inch buffer zone today. NCAA 2-inch buffer zone. I miss one pitch, guess what they're going to say? You said you were going to call the buffer zone today. Don't give them anything about strikes or balls at all. Like, I've even gotten away, ball strike, fair foul, safe out, you can't argue it, don't come out. I don't even say that. No, stop. Answer, do not answer. This is all do not. By the way, these are all the phone calls I got yesterday and today. Do not answer questions about the strike zone. All right, so you're not going to talk about your strike zone, but a coach says, hey, Sean, do you have a big strike zone or a small strike zone? I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you, coach. I go, strike zone's going to be the strike zone. All right? Because if I say, oh, man, it's a big strike zone, then all of a sudden here he comes, you got 95-mile-an-hour fastball coming at you, you're not going to have a big strike zone. Because that strike zone is going to change because the 95-mile-an-hour fastball is different to hit than a 60-mile-an-hour fastball. Do not answer questions about strike zone. Do not allow pitchers to warm up during the first plate meeting of a doubleheader. Guess what happened? Somebody got hit. All right, yeah, they were off to the side, but man, that wild pitches could be wild. All right, so have the plate meeting before the players take the field. Don't say any opinions on rules. All right, there are a lot of rules. I've said this before. There's a lot of rules. I hate courtesy runner. I hate it. But I'm not going to be at the plate meeting and say, well, this courtesy runner's stupid. So this was the play. This was the rule situation. They're going straight 9. Oh, you don't have another good hitter on your team? There goes that rapport with that coach. All right. It was a negative comment at the plate meeting. All right. It was an opinion you should use another good hitter as a DH. And that coach went sour throughout the game. And all right. So don't say any opinions about rules. Do not answer any judgment calls from previous games. You weren't there. So guess what coaches do? Hey, this is what happened in my perspective. It's crazy that the umpire didn't call forced play slide rule when they didn't slide at second base. Well, the coach didn't tell you that they peeled off completely away from. They didn't, because they're not giving you the full story. Say, Coach, I wasn't there. I can't answer that. You could contact Sean. You could contact Tom. You could contact. They'll answer the rule for you, but I can't. I was not there. Okay. And the last thing is, when I say babble, coaches will talk. I'm going to let them talk. Don't get caught up in that conversation. So the comment was having drinks after the doubleheader, having drinks after the game. All right. So when it came down to the end of the game, and the umpire, quote unquote, wanted to get out of there, guess what the coach yelled? You just want to go have drinks after the game. All right, don't babble. They will use it against you. It's not that they're mean or it's just competitive nature. All right, they will use words against you. All right, so these are the do nots. Plate meetings, nice and simple. If you're not doing these 6, these are the only 6 you should be doing. Consistency. So every single time a coach goes to plate meeting, they play 40 games this year, it should be the same message. Might be in different words, but same message. Anyone think back this weekend of something your partner said, it's like, oh man, that could have been used against them during the game at a plate meeting?
Not this pass.
Go ahead, Penn.
Well, I was responsible for it too, but my partner in my first game was talking about your strike zone, trying to encourage the batters to hit and convince the other coaches that you're going to have a good strike zone. We talked about that. Immediately it became, basically a witch hunt on where your strike zone is, what it isn't.
Yep.
Because
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we had, my partner said, as long as we hustle in and out in between the half innings, we should be all right today. So and after the coaches left, I'm like, what the heck was that all about? He goes, what? I go, that's why we have a pitch clock. We have a 2-minute pitch clock. They don't have a choice but to hustle in and out. I go, you made it sound like you're in a hurry to get out of here by you saying that. Like, did you not see the coaches look at you weird? No, I didn't. I said, because you're not making eye contact with the coaches. All right, because those little things, sometimes we don't even know that we said it. Do not use anything at the plate meeting that they could use against you. Josh.
Is there actually a 2-minute pitch clock at the intermediate at 12?
So USSSA, if it's not in the USSSA rule book, they go by original baseball rules. What is the Major League Baseball rule? I think it's 2 minutes too.
2 minutes.
Yeah, so 2 minutes to throw your 8, to throw your 5. Now, if it's a new pitcher, the new pitcher could throw 8 pitches beyond the 2 minutes, but the player and the new batter, they got to be ready to rock and roll. So it's not 2 minutes and then another 30 seconds to get to the plate. We got to be ready.
Just another thing about plate meeting.
Yep.
Take your sunglasses off.
Yep.
Better look.
Eye contact. Eye contact, eye contact, eye contact.
So I had,
Is this connected to the internet?
Yep.
Okay. Oh,
I had a
dumbass.
situation with a partner I umpired a couple weeks ago. Being overly friendly at the plate. Like, to the point where he's joshing with the coach and commented how soft he looked and kind of tapped him on the chest. And I was like, man, dude, that's so unprofessional.
Yep. Dude, even if it's your best friend. I mean, I will be honest with you. It is so awkward coming to the plate meeting with Chad Metzger and Walter Durson as my umpires. Okay? Like, because I'm trying to pretend like I don't know them. I don't want the other coach to know, and they know, but I don't want them to know like we're friends outside of just umpire and fellow sports official. It is so awkward sometimes. I'm like, don't talk to me. Like, we can't talk about our basketball game that we just worked yesterday. No, sorry. Like, keep it simple. All right. So here is an example. I'm going to block. We don't want Zach to know where people are. All right, so here's the pitch. Strike 3 is the call. All right. So that's the batter. We're good there. Well, what do you think this coach is doing? Can a coach leave his position to argue balls and strikes? No. Okay, so as an umpire, if I see this as an umpire, I'm asking the coach stop. Like, coach, you can't come out here unless you have a substitute. Like, that is literally what I will tell that coach. Coach, you can't come out here unless you have a substitute. All right, I want to prevent an ejection. But that does not happen. All right. And boom. All right, so now we have an ejection. All right, took way too long. Once we eject, what should we now do as the umpire?
Walk away.
Walk, like, I'm not going to run, but because I need to walk away. And in this case, guess where I'm walking? I am going to get my little pointer. I'm not even going up the third baseline. I am going to my partner. Is that the better one? Higher quality. All right. So my partner is coming in. So I am going to now start walking to my partner, because now guess what do I have to do as a partner? I have to intercept and now rodeo clown that coach to his dugout. All right, so we have an ejection, walk away to my partner, let my partner take on that conversation. Because who's the coach mad at? You. So it's like a kid, right? If you're mad at your mom, what do? You go to dad. Okay? It's human behavior. We always do it. But the learning point of this is a coach cannot leave their position, third base dugout, if they're at first base, to argue balls and strikes. You got to stop them. Okay, you got to stop them. Now, the good coaches will do this. They're going to swallow the pill in between innings. They're going to come out with their lineup card. Okay, well, I'm good with that. Guess what I'm going to do now? I'm taking out my lineup card, and we're going to have a conversation. Hey, coach, I know you don't have a sub, but what do you got? Sean, that pitch was low. Hey, coach, if that was low, I missed it. I'm sorry, but I thought it was a good pitch. Cool. Okay, so if it's in between innings, there's stuff we could do, but we cannot let that happen. So ball strike, hey, coach, you can't come out here unless it's a substitute. They cannot leave their position, argue balls and strikes. Go ahead, Ryan.
What you do as the base umpire, when you and the head coach make big eye contact, and you know he's going to come and argue balls and strikes.
So I'm going to try to back it up to when the coach makes the screen, because you'll see the base umpire start walking up.
I might be asking for experience.
So right here, now he's going to start walking up. So, whenever, get in there. Yeah.
So
One-on-one with coaches.
the one that Ryan's talking about was from last season, American Legion ball out at Wahoo, and I forget what other team it wasn't Wahoo, it was the other team that came in, and it was in between innings, but I'd already made my way up the other foul line, and I see the coach approaching the dirt circle, but he doesn't have a lineup card, doesn't have anything, so I stopped signing immediately. But what I saw first was Ryan walking in, and so the city coach out of the corner, so we stopped signing. I was like, sir, you have a coach have a lineup change? He said, no, I'm not out here to argue balls and strikes. I just want the same zone they do. It's like, well, coach, that's arguing balls and strikes, so that's your ball strike warning.
Yeah.
But I just turned and went up the third baseline to get away from their dugout and get away from them. So that's where I mentioned going up the third baseline, but I get because of the ejection taking the partner.
Yep.
But in that case, on the warning, trying to create separation.
Correct.
That's probably more.
So if you warn or restrict a coach to the dugout, do it while going away from that coach, away from that dugout. Ben?
Just gonna use more on that me and you went over again, because I see we're gonna move on, but single umpire, and all of that complaint or anything is coming from the coaches, they're not approaching you, but it's constant from third base, you dealt with that. I'm sure other people deal with that, they just,
So
how do you control that and move away without,
this is how I dealt with it when you gave me the information. So 13U, 14U, I'll give you a little history. We went one umpire because we didn't have enough umpires. Well, now they go one umpire because they're trying to save money. So Tom, did you get paid today? Okay, so Tom worked the team that had one umpire. Because now if I have a team who's unsporting, like straight up unsporting, I'm telling the team, we're either going to send out 2 umpires or we're going to pull our umpires on the rest of your games. And so the coaches agreed, all right, we're going to have 2 umpires the rest of the year. And their next game was today, and I got Tom on the game today. So in the moment, you again, try to step away, avoid. The manager's responsibility is to control their players, their spectators, and their assistant coaches. So if it gets so bad, coach, here's your team warning. If they continue to argue judgment calls, they're at risk of being ejected. If the spectator, you're going to have to remove that spectator from the field.
so that's the question that I had after me and you got off the phone there, was the situation that I had, and it ended up being the assistant coach that I ejected.
Yep.
Should I have ejected the head coach himself?
Yeah. No, so the assistant coach is ejected for their behavior. The head coach is not ejected. But you could, hey, coach, here's your team warning. If your assistant coach keeps on arguing, judgment calls, whoever continues arguing, because it's a team warning, they're at risk of ejecting themselves. And typically the team warning ends it. Okay? All right, so we have overthrow, back end of a double play. All right, so we have a runner on first base. Definitely a runner on first base. All right, so first off, mechanically, who's got what?
So home plate umpire is gonna have the overthrow, the ball going out of play.
Yep.
Runner running down first base.
Legal runner lane interference there. Any pulled foot swipe tag from F3.
So just right now,
Oh, right now he just
Right
has
now
the
he's
ball.
got the ball with it.
he's only got the ball. Who does the base umpire got? He's got this runner. Is he making that attempt to second? All right. So, but that's what the base umpire is watching. So many times the base umpire, we go with the ball. Like it's so hard to like train yourself because we always say chest to baseball, right? This is the exception. All right. Base umpire, you have the status of this runner. Home plate umpire does a great job leaving and going with the ball. This is a what-if rule, right? Was this the first play or second play by an infielder? Second play. So now what's the award?
2 bases from the time of throw.
2 bases, time of throw. All right. So time of throw. So there's the throw. All right. Who's responsible for that? Home plate. Because what is the umpire in the field doing? He's not turning until the throw is made. All right. So this umpire right here has another additional responsibility, doesn't he? Where is that runner at the time of the throw? Because it's now the second attempted play. Now I will give you a warning: do not pick a booger. We don't have video evidence if he touched first base at the time of throw or not. When in doubt, he did not. All right. And now we're going to play this out. Fouls the baseball, time, second base. Okay. If he had touched first base prior to the throw and was safe on this.
Second base, score.
And who should we move first?
Batter runner.
Always move the first runner, so safe at second, so therefore that's obvious that, yeah, he was at second before the throw. Now what coaches are going to argue what? What are coaches going to argue? It's 1 + 1. That's going to be one argument. Perceptually, how many bases did the runner who scored get? 2. Perceptually, though. He perceptually got 3. So you now have to educate the coach. Hey, coach, no, both runners got 2 bases. It just so happened the batter runner wasn't at first base yet. So his 2 bases are first and second. I have a safe call at second, so his 2 bases are third and home. Oh, okay. All right, so in that moment, you got to be able to break that down. We had a question back.
I was going to ask if there was a runner on second in this situation.
If I go back to mechanics here, no, because he's in B position.
No, I was wondering
Oh.
if there was, then one has to follow all the way to home plate at that point.
So if there's a runner at second base, so the home plate umpire, actually, man, I should have, that's right. Instead of coming up the first base line right now, if there's a runner at second base, he's going to stay first base extended in foul territory. So now he's still got the same angle, runner's lane. He's still got the same angle, swipe tag. He's on the left side of that forced play slide rule. And for that overthrow, all he's got to do is not move to his right. And he's still behind home plate.
And actually, the other umpire's gonna be on the other side of the bag.
Yeah, I guess.
Yep.
So you're saying this went out of play.
This went out of play.
So what if it went under the fence?
Same thing out of play. So we have a thrown ball out of play. Time.
Does that same rule apply on a drop through strike?
Yep.
I had a situation where I honestly didn't know, I only awarded first base, but it was a drop third strike. The catcher did not catch it. It ricocheted off of his glove and went out of the fence, and I only gave him first, but the coach demanded that he could have taken second off of the pass ball had it not went out. It
Was it a pitch ball?
was a pitch ball.
So one base.
Because there was no other play by him.
No,
Correct.
one base on a pitch ball.
Yep. Yep. All right, I think that was, yeah, it's 8:41. Sweet.
Sean,
Or if the pitcher's still on the rubber, throws the ball out of bounds.
yeah,
Throws the ball, dead ball, it's one.
That's been moved.
Unless he stepped on it.
Sean, so I was reading an article the other day, and I think I'm going to do it.
Any questions online, Zach? Okay.
Especially as we get into differences between Federation and AIA, courtesy runner rules, same with you. I'm going to do a laminated card to put in the lineup card holder. I think I may make a quick reference on for balls thrown out of place. That way when we get into weird situations, say like the drop third strike, well, let's say maybe that throw and the pitch stays in play, catcher overthrows it, now the throw coming from the outfield in. You know, so that way we can, something on that, do you think that would be okay? I mean,
You could always make it and hand it out. People use it, people use it. If they don't use it, they don't use it.
Pitcher disengages and throws it out, it's 2, right?
Yep, so, because once a pitcher disengages, what does he become? A fielder.
But a jump turn, what about a jump turn?
He has not disengaged, so he's still a pitcher. It's one base. So the last thing, and I have a bunch of stuff here, as you guys could see. Investing in this, and this is more for people who are probably not here, but if you're working with partners and they're not matching the uniform, all right, have a conversation, have a pick-me-up. Like, hey, man, like, I think it will benefit you if you got the proper uniform. So, like, our PSOA hat is our team hat. If you work for other associations, wear their hat. It's okay to have multiple hats. I got 10 in my car right now. All right, so, but you want to match that organization, that group, whatever you're working for. I had a guy in a gray jacket. It was cold, I'm not going to lie. It's cold. But if you're going to buy a jacket that meets the team. All right? And it doesn't even have to be like you have a black jacket. It's a black, like, it doesn't have to be the white piping. Find something that fits the team. If you have partners that have heather gray or their sun, so it's like red. You guys all know the color. I wonder if I have any pants that are red in there. Give them feedback, or purple, yeah. Hey, we just worked 4 games today. Use one of those game fees to, it only benefits you as an umpire. It goes back to, if you look good, you feel good. And if you look good, feel good, people usually treat you good. All right, so have this benefit you with uniforms. With that being said, I'm going to, go for it.
Safety bag played first.
Yes.
The no runners lane, you enforce based off where the line for runners lane should be. Example, batter runner running after hit ball on very inside of foul line and doesn't run the safety bag.
All right, so the question is safety bag. If they're using the safety bag, does the runner's lane still, like, do we extend the runner's lane? And the answer is no, because the safety bag is still inside that 3 feet. Okay, so if where the runner's lane interference comes into play is when they run their left foot completely on the left side of the fair foul line. Okay, so if there's a safety bag, because that came up earlier today, make sure both coaches know they could use it.